Hi, my friends. You got Gord Birch here, your hurtin' hippie with Weedy Weekend number 74. I like those numbers growing big like that. It means you guys like what I do because you keep asking for more. The few I missed have been asked for a lot. Let me turn this down because it's going to bother us while we're working. There. But remember, smoke weed every day. Okay, Weedy Weekend number 74 is a weedless one. My son is not in the house right now. That's why I'm talking about it. But he's around the house and staying with me this weekend, so there's no smoking going on in here. So when I say cheers, you guys smoke for me. Okay? And let's move on. First story, local. Medical marijuana users ask Liberals to cut costs. Earlier this week, 15 patients from across Canada spoke with 4 members of the government's legislation task force about how medical cannabis helps them with their ailments. They told the panel that the cost of medical marijuana often causes financial hardship. Oh boy, does it ever. According to event facilitator Hilary Black, founder of Vancouver's oldest dispensary. The event was sponsored by the Arthritis Group, Canadians for Fair Access to Medical Marijuana, and the Canadian AIDS Society. They attended by patients from different backgrounds, including a police officer, a veteran, a woman whose epileptic son uses cannabis. The 9-member task force, led by former Justice Minister Anne McClellan, must submit its final report next month, and so far has met youth and experts in relevant fields. This is good. This is the more important part of this story, though. Those patients overwhelmingly want Ottawa to remove the sales tax on marijuana and to declare it a medicine like the government. I'm inputting this like R.V. Smith said. It's our right as a medicine. And to finally declare it as a medicine so insurers are more inclined to offer coverage. Health Canada has not approved marijuana as a medicine. The courts have. Health Canada has not. Before being marketed, any drug must be issued a unique number by Health Canada that identifies its manufacturer, product name, active ingredient, strength, pharmaceutical form, and route of administration. In quotes, I don't think it's realistic for an herb that has many active ingredients on it to be able to check the boxes of getting a drug identification number. She said, we're recommending that they give cannabis its own directorate, and find a way to give its own approval status. Because it's different, it can't get a unique identifier number. And you can't give separate identifier numbers for every strain. There's too many and it's always changing. It needs to have its own category. They need to fix this. This is a good story. Everyone should cheers on this. At least the government's getting the right input before they make the decision. Will the output reflect the input? I doubt it. They're government. They don't listen to us much. This could be just them placating us until they tell us what we're going to have. Let's move on and cheers to the people working hard to get the government on our side. The next story is about the Karma Cup in Toronto, and this upsets me. The Karma Cup is just around the corner, and just with only a few days left, they got notified that their location is no longer available to them. They're scrambling for a place to hold it. I encourage you to read the story. There weren't specific pieces I wanted to grab from, except that within the last 24 to 48 hours, city officials have come down heavily on Karma Cup organizers, trying to prevent them from continuing with the events. This is again the city of Toronto, and who's paying for all this, attacking the medical group instead of realizing that all this is changing. I think any of you that are in Toronto that have a say, phone your city council people. Start a grassroots uprising against your city spending this kind of money to quash something that's inevitable. It's a waste of your tax money. A waste. A horrible waste. At least they're using the Toronto police. That way, it's not interfering with my tax dollars, which I wish I didn't spend, because I believe in barter. So, I won't cheers to that. That's something that requires some people to raise up and say, stop it. I will speak to that the same sort of thing was kind of given to us at Hempfest last weekend. 2 weeks before it, the local police notified the organizers of Hempfest that if you have any dispensary activity, we're going to shut you down and make arrests. So they removed all dispensary people from the Hempfest, from the convention. We came anyway as a dispensary, but under the name of our charity, so that we could represent. And you know what was overwhelming there? Was that everybody was happy that there was at least one dispensary represented, because people want that. They were itching for the information and the better products. Itching. All right, next story. Next story is just a silly thing from Leafly on these factors can impact how quickly or slowly your cannabis burns. I'm sharing it. It's a fun piece, a fluff piece. Really, it must have been a slow news day, because we all know if it's moist, it'll burn slower if it's not moist. But they do at least tell you some really good stuff about storing. Don't freeze your stuff unless you want some degradation. Yes, if you're making hash, freeze it for a little bit, 24 to 48 hours, then make your hash. Short-term freezing isn't a bad thing. Long-term storage by freezing brings the moisture to the surface. Once you then thaw it, then the trichomes start to get degraded by the moisture that's on top of them. Not a good idea. So there's some good things from this story. Everybody, cheers. Now, this is a good story from the Marijuana Times. What is the shelf life of cannabis? How long can you store it? Very, very good story. I don't think I highlighted anything here, but cannabis potency has 4 main mortal enemies: heat, light, oxygen, and moisture. Just remember those 4: heat, light, oxygen, and moisture. Try to keep everything to a minimum. Really, basically, it says the longer you need to store it, the better. You got to keep it from air. What I do, I use these things with a Bovida pack, and I keep it in a dark spot, my drawer down here, usually closed, a dark spot, and it's cool in this room. I keep a window right beside that open. Cool, lack of oxygen, lack of moisture, and what was the other? And heat. No heat. Oh, I said cool. Oxygen, moisture, and light. No light. Those are the things. Minimize those, it'll last longer. They've brought out pot from thousands of years ago in the pyramids and everything. So does it last? Yeah, it lasts. But it's a plant. If it isn't stored properly, it doesn't last. Period. And the next 2 stories are just... I usually don't promote my channel, my YouTube channel, on Weedy Weekend. You're watching my YouTube channel. So I usually don't put my own stories there. I think that's kind of akin to patting yourself on the back. But I haven't seen stories about this, and I've done them. So I'm sharing mine. I have a rant that I'm talking about right now, the link below, called ACMPR does not provide better access. It limits it. The government was to, and ordered to, fix 5 or more areas of access with their new ACMPR. They came out only with, here, we're going to let you grow. Now more information has come forward. I urge you to listen to this video and the link provided in the video to the actual backing up of the story. But basically, the first LP, under the Growing Act, you're only allowed to buy the things that you need to grow from an LP. First of all, again, that's limiting our access rights because it limits our purchase power and our purchasing rights. We're allowed to buy anything we want from anybody as long as it's legal. Stop putting the regulations on. But not only did they do that, they cut out the seeds. The LPs are only selling clones, and hugely expensive. The first 5, $150 a piece. You got to buy 5 minimum. So just to get started with any plant, $750. Wrong. Bad. Every additional clone after that is $20. The going price of clones right now. Absolutely ridiculous. And most of us, if we want it to grow, we need a couple of strains. Really, 3 or 4 strains is best. 2 is minimum. So 2 strains would cost you a minimum $1,500 just to have the plants. Never mind all the other materials you're going to need to move ahead. Only the rich, sick, can afford to grow their own. That's sad. That's disgusting. It makes me mad. Please do not cheers this story. The next one is my video, a much happier one, in which I tried to clear the muddy waters of, in fact, I call it the muddy waters of cannabis medicine legalities in Canada. Blah. Big mouthful, but it's important. So many people say, my doctor won't give me my prescription and only lets me go to 1 LP. My doctor says if I buy off a dispensary, he'll cancel my prescription. Blah, blah, blah. There's all these, sorry about the blah, blah, blah. I meant etc., etc., etc. So many people bring me forward. How do you buy from a dispensary when I'm only allowed to buy from an LP? So I encourage you to check it out, because really the rights of the patient have been described by the courts. We have the rights of purchase. We have the rights of access. We have all the rights inherent in our purchasing of any other medicine is inherent in our rights of purchasing medicinal marijuana. The fact that the government hasn't provided those means in a legal format, in a approved format, does not take away our rights as an individual who is sick, who is accessing medicine. We have all the rights. That's why patients do not get arrested when the dispensary is shut down. The dispensaries, I promise you, within a year or two, all those dispensaries that got shut down are going to win huge out-of-court settlements or in-court settlements, because they were exercising the rights as spoke by our courts. The government is behind the scenes and scrambling, trying to shut everybody down, scrambling, trying to find a way to get this forward without admitting that they've made all these mistakes. They admit it. All these cases get solved. So remember, your right as a patient, buy where you want. Yeah, we have to go through the rigmarole. In fact, Monday, I go get my prescription renewed, and they're going to ask me, are you happy with your LP? And I'm going to say no, and I buy nothing from my LP. They even sent me a questionnaire to fill out before my appointment, asking about my LP, about their products, all that kind of stuff. And I just said I don't buy it. I buy elsewhere. I am going to be very firm about exercising my rights as a patient. You have to make your own decision. I do not advise you. I only give you the information from which you can make your own decisions as to how risky you want to be. I personally feel the risk is minimal to nothing, but do I feel the risk sometimes? Yeah, I feel it, because I don't trust my government and I don't trust the local police. So I feel it a bit. I stay legal by being a member of the ACMPR, which means I have to be with an LP. Doesn't mean I have to buy from the LP. I'm just registered with them. And the final thing is just a story. Just a story. I love to share these kind of things. As most of you know, I am sponsored by MMJ's charity, Hands of Hope. It's how I'm able to still bring good medicine to all of you and to myself and stay somewhat healthy. Because of that, and because they're just such wonderful people, I do a lot of volunteer work helping out on their website, helping people find the right medicine, that kind of thing. Kind of a help desk for cannabis. Running any help desk. I've run help desks for Canadian Pacific Railway. I've designed help desks for trucking companies. Running out any help desk, you get some wonderful, wonderful things where you get to work with people, and you get some funny, funny things. So I just want to leave you with one of the funny questions I got on the help desk last week. How much quantity is in one marijuana? If any of you can answer that, please give me your answer below, because I didn't know how to answer this customer from Salt Lake City. They wanted to have it, that one marijuana, delivered from Canada to Salt Lake City, but I didn't know how to say how much quantity was in that one marijuana. And what is one marijuana? It was fun. It was fun. And if you happen to be the person who asked that question, I'm not picking on you. I'm picking with you. I'm laughing with you. It's just funny. We need to educate people better, but there'll always be that person. So peace and cheers. Love and harmony. Weedy Weekend 74 signing out. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoyed making it. Love you all.